Hello everyone and welcome to a video presentation on the subject data structure and algorithm. Today's topic will be stacks, basics of stacks. I am Savik Mukherjee and today I am presenting in behalf of the subject CSE 2003 Data Structure and Algorithm, VIT University Vellore, Digital Assignment 1. So welcome to the presentation. Today I'll state some of the basic definitions and use and real life example of data structure and algorithms most common data structure, that is stack. So welcome. Okay, so let's start with what is data structure. In computer science, a data structure is a data organization, management and storage format that enables efficient access and modification. More precisely, a data structure is a collection of data, values, the relationship among them, and the functions or operations that can be applied to the data. So let's start with the presentation now. So data structure is basically divided into two parts. One is linear data structure and the other one is the non-linear data structure. In linear data structure, we have arrays, queues and stack. Today we'll be talking about stack. So let's start with it. So now, what is a linear data structure? In linear data structure, the data is arranged in a linear sequence. Data items can be traversed in a single run. In linear data structure, elements are accessed or placed in contiguous memory location. So in a linear data structure, the data structures are in a linear sequence. We can access them all in a single sequence altogether. What is a stack? A stack is basically a LIFO collection, that is a last in and first out collection. This means that the last thing that we add in a stack pops out first. In stack basically we have two operations, push and pop. The last thing which we add gets added to the top of the stack, and when we pop out something, it also pops out from the top of the stack. Okay, so now a stack is a sequence of items that are accessible at only one end of the sequence. That means stack is some kind of a collection of book or plate, something like that can be accessed from only top of the stack. So either we can remove or add elements from top of the stack. So real life example means similar example of stacks are like collection of books and plates. So suppose if you want to remove a book from a collection of books, we need to do it from top of the stack. That means we can remove or add. Both the operations we can do from the top. Similar thing goes with the plate. So let's move forward. The operations that can be performed on a stack. So here we can see this is the first entry. That means the first thing that we added in the stack goes to the bottom, and above that we go on adding entities until the last one that comes on the top. So if you want to remove anything, that gets popped out from the top. Now we have two basic operations in stack, that is a push and a pop. Push adds element to the stack. It always adds element on top of the stack, and pop means to remove element. In pop we need to pop out. The pop operation always occurs on the top of the stack. So now for push operation we need to give the data we need to push in. Pop always occurs from the top, so whichever element is there in the top or the last entry, that will get popped out. So let's move to the next one. Okay, so it's the same thing. Push is used to insert elements into the stack on the top, and pop is used to delete elements from the stack. Okay, now top is a pointer that represents the current location of data in the stack. So we see a basic example here. Suppose we have a stack containing 6 memory locations in which 3 elements are stored. First we have pushed in A, then B and then C. Now if we do an operation like push D, That means we want to insert an element with a variable name d which has data inside it, so it will get added to top of the stack. That means it will curve over the c which was initially present at the top. Now the top pointer will be pointing towards the d. So now if we have a second operation, say push of d, this will get added on the top of the d and the top pointer will again get redirected to e. So say if we have a next operation as pop, now the topmost element which is e will get eliminated. And suppose if we have the next operation as pop, so the topmost element d will now get eliminated and the stack which we have started with c, b and a will remain with that. So okay, let's move forward. Now we have algorithm for push operation in a stack. Algorithm is a basic code which could be used by any programming language. Suppose that depends from system to system what we want to use according to us. So here we have the name of the method as insertion. We have certain variables in it, that is a is the name of the stack, top is the topmost pointer, item is the data that we need to add to the stack, and max is the maximum memory allocation given to the stack. So this is a method. In the second line we see if the data structure stack is already full. That means if suppose we had given a memory allocation of 6 spots or say 6 elements to get added and the stack has already 6 elements in it, in this certain case we cannot push elements to because we do not have memory allocated for it. So in this second case we take this certain scenario. Suppose the stack is full, that means if we have 6 elements already in it and the stack is supposed to have 6 elements in it, in this certain case the top pointer will already be pointing the maximum and hence no more element can be added. This is a condition of stack overflow. Now in the third case what we do is we increment the top by 1. That means suppose our pointer was at c and now we increment this pointer to a new fresh memory location such that we can add a new element d to this position. So now top is in this position where no element is there. After incrementing the top, the fourth line we see in this stack a, in the position of top, that means where the pointer is pointing the top, we add the element which we want to add. In this case this is d. So now d gets added to this point of stack and we exit the program. That's it for the algorithm of insertion or pushing operation in a stack. So now let's see a deletion insertion, that is the pop. In this method we have only 3 elements, that is a, the stack, the top pointer and item to store or return the element that we are popping out. So like we had stack overflow in case of push operation, we can have a condition of stack underflow in case of pop. Suppose if the stack is already empty, we cannot remove any element from that. So that is the condition of a stack overflow. So the second line states this thing. So if suppose the top is equal to 0, that means we have the top element position in this last memory location. So in this case the stack is empty. Any elements cannot be removed from this stack. So in this condition we directly say that the stack is empty or stack overflow and exit the code. So any element can't be popped out in this situation. In another case we store the topmost element. Suppose 50 is the topmost element in the stack. We store this element a of top, that is the data present in that position of stack, into a temporary variable, say item, and we decrement the top by 1. That means we decrement the top pointer from 15 to 12 and we store this element 15 in an item. After that we return this item value of 15 and we remove. In many cases we need to free this memory because there is no element present here and we have removed the data from this position, so we need to free this memory which was allocated to 15. So this was the algorithm for deletion in a stack or the pop operation. So let's move forward to a display operation in a stack. So here we have three three elements in the method display. The top pointing the topmost pointer, I is the index which we used for a loop, and a of I is the position, is the data present in the index position I of the stack A. So in case if we have top equal to 0, again in the case if the stack is empty, we cannot have anything to display. So in that case we have to print the stack is empty and we'll exit the code from it. Else, otherwise, we'll start a loop where the I will start from the topmost position of the stack and will continue to iterate till it reaches the end of the stack, that is the 0th position. And then we'll search with the if loop, we'll search with if condition, and we'll see if we can find the element. If we find the element, we'll display the element and then we'll exit. That's it for the display code, display algorithm for a stack. So let's see application of stacks. So stacks applications are used in reversing of strings. Okay, so a simple application of stack is reversing strings. To reverse a string, the characters of strings are pushed into stack one by one and the string is read from left to right. Okay, so suppose we have a string. Each character of the string are separated and are pushed inside the stack. So now as we take out each and every element, we get the reverse string. Suppose we have APPLE, we push E at the end and then goes, we push A in the end, next goes P, again goes P, and when we take out the elements, the E comes out first. Yes, because E was at the end of the stack. So in this certain situation, the array which we got is a reversed array. Okay, so once all the characters of strings are pushed into the stack, they are popped out one by one. Since the last pushed in comes out first, pop operation results in reverse of the string. That's it. Suppose if we have an element like DOG, we push D first, that goes to the bottom of the stack, then goes O, and then goes D. And when we pop out each element, the G comes out first, then comes O, then comes D. So in this certain case, the DOG which went inside and came out as DOD. So the string got reversed in this condition. Okay, so next. So okay, we are having an example here. Suppose the string we have is reverse. So we take out each and every element from the element reverse, and suppose in Java we use caret of I using a loop. We take out each and every element and push every element inside the stack. Suppose R goes at the last position of the stack, then comes E, and then comes the rest of the string. So at the topmost position we have E, and when we take out this, we take out from E, then comes S, then comes R. In the similar way it goes on till R, and in this situation the string gets reversed. Okay, the second operation is checking the validity of an expression containing nested parentheses. Okay, so we can use many kinds of parentheses in a given statement. So we need to check whether every parenthesis that has started needs to end. So the number of parentheses needs to be same, means the opening parenthesis and the ending parenthesis need to be same, and also the order of placement of it should be correct. So we use a stack operation to find this thing. So here we see. Stacks are also used to check whether a given arithmetic expression containing nested parentheses is properly parenthesized. The program for checking the validity of an expression verifies that for each left parenthesis, braces or bracket, there is a corresponding closing symbol and symbols are appropriately nested. Okay, so suppose we have an example here. So we see input. Suppose we have a starting parenthesis, it always needs to have an ending. If we have something like this, then the arithmetic expression will go wrong because we have a bracket which is started but not closed. So we can check this operation using stack. So in this side we can see the valid number of inputs, and the other side we can see the invalid inputs. So in this way we can push one element, and when we pop out, we see that the reverse of the thing is present or not. So this thing could be done by stack operation. Okay, so let's move forward toward the next application of the stack, that is evaluating arithmetic expressions. In arithmetics, we generally have three notations. They are infix, prefix, and postfix. In infix notation, the operands like plus, minus, subtraction, they come in between the variables like a and b. In prefix, these operands come before, and in postfix, they comes after. So in general arithmetics, we use infix notation. So using stack, we can convert this notation into prefix or postfix notation, which are used by computer languages. So let's see a basic conversion of infix to postfix. Suppose we have this 2 plus 4 minus 1 into 3. So by Bodmer's rule, we can see the first operation that will happen is the bracket, that is 4 minus 1. The next operation that will happen is the multiplication with 3, and the last operation is the addition with 2. So suppose we have the stack. We first of all push this element 2 inside the stack. Then goes the number 4 into the stack, then goes 1. So the first operation which we need to do is the subtraction operation, which is present inside the brackets. So that is 4 minus 1. So once we do this operation, we get an answer as 3. Now we have two elements, 3 and 2 inside a stack. Now the next operation we need to do is multiplication of 3. So we push 3 into the stack and multiply them. So we get a value of 9. Now the thing we have is 9 and 2. The next operation we need to do is the plus operation, that is we get answer as 11 please. So let's see this in a tabular form. So the first thing we do is we push this opening braces into a stack. So in stack we have these opening braces, and our postfix expression now is 2, as we have pushed in these 2 into the stack. So the next thing we do is push the addition. So the addition come into the stack. Similarly, we push the opening braces and the number 4 and the minus symbol and the number 1. So after this we have our postfix operation as 2, 4, 1. So the next thing we need to do is we need to pop out this minus symbol and throw it here. So we do this operation, and the minus symbol pops out from the stack which is initially present here, and now this goes to this position and this becomes 2, 4, 1 minus. So next we push in the closing braces, then the multiplication symbol, and then the number 3. So after doing this, we have our postfix expression as this 2, 4, 1 minus 3. So the next operation which we need to do is we need to pop out this star, that is the multiplication operation, from our stack and throw it here. And the next operation is we need to pop out the plus operation and put it here. So after we do this, we get our expression as 2, 4, 1 minus 3 star plus. In this situation, the minus operation will happen first between 4 and 1, and then we have 3, 3 and multiply. So 3, 3 multiply will occur after that, then we get 9, and then we have 9, 2 plus, that is 9 plus 2, 11 will be a final answer. So we have converted our infix notation into a postfix notation. That's it. Thank you.